What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we are going to address how a Democratic lie, and it's a pretty big lie, could actually hurt them in passing the $1.75 trillion infrastructure bill. I'm going to dive into a little bit of a stimulus package or infrastructure news update. Want to talk about the fight over inflation, and then at the end of this video, talk about Pfizer's 100-day timeline. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now, but thank you guys for joining me. Thank you guys for always hitting that like button. It really does help out the channel. And make sure you guys stay subscribed so that you never miss an update. But let's get into the news for this afternoon. Here's what we know. In a recent poll, 66% of Americans don't agree with the way that the Biden administration has handled inflation. Some economists say that inflation is currently crippling our lower income and middle income earners. They say that lower income earners can't afford the necessities that they once could, and it's hurting our economy. Some say, or many really say and argue, that Democrats have had their head in the sand this entire time. Everybody keeps saying, except for Senator Joe Manchin, and he's seen as the outcast here, most Democrats are saying that no, the Build Back Better plan, Build Back Better Act, infrastructure bill, stimulus package, whatever you want to call it, American Families, whatever you decide to call it, this is not going to cause any additional inflation. This would actually provide relief from inflation. But very few actually believe this. When you see these polls, the American people say no, passing a $1.75 trillion infrastructure bill will cause additional inflation. And instead, let's figure out a way to provide some actual assistance, immediate relief to the American people. Well, that's why some are saying we need to do something for gas prices. If gas prices do not come down soon, then it's going to cripple the lower income and middle income earners. And I completely agree. If you only have, let's say on Social Security, you only have, let's say $50 at the end of the month. Well, that $50 that used to buy $50 worth of gas, that $50 can now only buy $42 in gas, right? Well, last year, that $50 worth of gas that you could have gotten, that's gonna be like $26, $27 in gas now. So it's not great, right? It's a huge, huge issue. So here's what we do know. Right now, many question Democrats' plans. Well, here's something I want to talk about because this specifically addresses the Biden administration, Democrats' plans, and the bill that Democrats passed a while ago. That was the American Rescue Plan, which was passed back in March. The American Rescue Plan. This bill provided $1.9 trillion in relief and stimulus to the American people and our economy. It also provided us a boost for the COVID variants, the COVID situation, the entire pandemic. Well, many people have pointed to this one bill, specifically this one bill. And the main reason why is because of the $1,400 stimulus checks. They're saying this is the reason we saw so much inflation. They're saying this is the biggest issue that we are seeing is right now there's so much money that's been pumped into our economy to prop it up and it hasn't been pulled away. The problem is that's what's causing so much inflation. Well, I want to talk about the major news from today because everyone says we can't provide more stimulus checks. We can't do this or that because it's going to increase inflation. Well, here's something that did increase inflation. Well, recently what we heard, and this just came out today, is that Democrats have admitted that their $86 billion taxpayer bailout for the multi-employer union pension plans will actually cost much more than previously advertised. Keep this in mind. This $86 billion fund that was funded by the American taxpayers, you and I, this was originally supposed to be $86 billion. Well, yeah, and this still would not have fully funded them, right? They still have issues. But what we are hearing is that now it's coming out that they didn't realize how underfunded this program was going to be. Democrats in the past, they use hypothetical investment returns in their finances, and according to the reports today, this caused the program to be severely underfunded to begin with. So they knew going in that they were going to have major issues, but they still passed the bill, told the American people, even told, again, I don't think every single Democrat knew this. Honestly, don't, because the majority of them didn't even read the bill. When the bill passed, then people were like, oh, that was in there? Like, how did that get in there? Like, why would that pass and yet this other provision wasn't included? And so that was the talks for probably about a month and a half, is really that was in there? And either Democrats just played stupid, or not Democrats, excuse me, all lawmakers played stupid, or they just simply did not know it was in there. I don't know. Let me know down in the comment section below. What do you think? Again, no Republican voted on this, so could we just say Democrats played stupid? I guess, but technically, all lawmakers did vote for or on this bill, whether it's for or against. So, if it wasn't Democrats that pointed out, Republicans weren't pointing it out all the time either. So, right now, I think both of them kind of had their head in the sand passing some of these bills. But here's what I can tell you, and again, why this matters. This matters because moderates have been saying, and again, this is coming just days before Congress is back in Washington. But moderates have been saying for the past couple of months, if this bill, this $1.75 trillion infrastructure bill, is not fully funded, then they are not going to support it. So, again, lawmakers come back on Monday. So, if the news is coming out that Democrats knew this bill wasn't even close to being funded, yet they passed it, guess what's going to happen? They're going to get even more scrutiny. They're going to be, Democrats, moderates specifically, going to be looking into this $1.75 trillion infrastructure bill. They're going to look into this, and they're going to determine, is it really going to be fully funded? Senator Joe Manchin already questions this. Senator Sinema is questioning this as well. Many representatives in the House are already questioning whether or not this bill will be fully funded. As of right now, we know it's not going to be fully funded. We also know that there is, if there's certain provisions like the child tax credit payments were to get extended, this bill wouldn't even come close to being fully funded. But again, this is just coming out, and this is going to cause a lot of issues. Now, I'm bringing this story to you very early because we don't got a lot of information on it, and I haven't even actually seen any lawmakers discussing this. I'm hoping tomorrow, maybe, we could get some interviews, but I doubt it. My expectation is this coming week, we're going to get some lawmakers to actually bring this up, mention this, and discuss why they passed the bill when they knew, I don't know for sure if they did or not, but when they knew that this bill, or this union pension plan, the funding for it, wasn't actually going to cover it. And it was going to be woefully underfunded. So we'll see what happens there. Something else that we do know is President Biden has called on other nations, and this is something they did yesterday, was he called on other nations to agree to waive the intellectual property protections for COVID vaccines. This is something that many have actually been fighting for a little while, is to waive this so that we can finally get through this pandemic. That the wealthier countries like the United States, China, whatever, we cannot hoard our vaccines. Pfizer, if you look at Moderna stock over the past year, you'd be doing really well over the past year. Pfizer, not so much, but Moderna's been doing really well, been crushing it. So, some are saying we need to waive our rights, we need to waive this, the intellectual property protections so that everybody can have the same vaccines. We need to stop doing this. Currently, many poorer countries are without vaccines, while wealthier countries have been stocking up, have ample supply. Even recently, President Biden and the entire Biden administration were criticized because of providing free booster shots to almost every single person that was eligible. Now, by not providing enough vaccines to poorer countries and doing booster shots here in the United States, what we have pretty much given ourselves the opportunity to do is go and get 2 vaccines, go and get a third one for a booster shot, possibly get a fourth one, if we see that this Omicron variant actually doesn't work with our current vaccine and booster. But again, the issue there is that according to Pfizer, they could have this out within the 100 days. 100 days. Yeah, it's not a joke. Originally, we thought that they could have this out almost immediately. That they could figure out, okay, that if this was resistant to our current vaccine, they could rework the vaccine and they could have this out almost immediately. I saw a bunch of reports saying this could be done in almost a week. We could, or I think it was about 2 weeks, it could be done, and it would take about a week to ship them out. And so within 3 to 4 weeks, they will be out there. 3 to 4 weeks, that's 21 to 28 days. Pfizer's saying 100 days. 100 days, over 3 months. Get that, over 3 months. It's currently, let's just say it's December 1st. It's not, it's November 27th, but let's say it's December 1st. January, February, March. They wouldn't start coming out until March. We would almost be into the springtime. Here's the issue there. We're going to see a surge in COVID cases. If this is worse, even if it's not, we're going to see an increase in COVID cases because it's winter. Everyone's coming indoors, right? They're not outside. Everyone is going to be very confined. So we could see possibly the deadliest and worst winter we have seen so far in this pandemic. Okay? So that's the expectation. But in other COVID news, what we are hearing is that we now have confirmed cases in the UK, Germany, and Italy. Dutch officials are almost certain that passengers from the two flights that came in, they actually do carry the Omicron variant. Israel has decided to close its borders to foreigners for the next 2 weeks or 14 days. They say that citizens will actually have to quarantine for, I believe, 7 days on their dime. And doctors in South Africa say Omicron's symptoms are unusual but mild. Interesting. It's very interesting that they say it's unusual but mild when other reports are saying that it could be the deadliest and most severe variant that we've had so far. Dr. Fauci has stated that he would not be surprised if this variant is already in the United States. And many health experts are saying that they are warning people to avoid crowded areas and to continue to wear a mask. But one thing I just want to say is that many doctors have already been asking for, and again, this is coming from major hospitals, for the Biden administration to pretty much shut down large sporting events, to shut down some are saying schools. I don't know if this happens, okay, but it could. Now, I don't want to be out there, causing any alarm or panic, but just understand, yes, sporting events could be shut down, okay, especially if you're not wearing a mask, but that's already kind of the point, or the goal is to everybody come up, or show up, wear a mask. But schools, everybody in many cases is supposed to wear a mask anyway, unless you have a mask mandate ban. But just understand, as we get more information on this new variant that is supposed to be, much deadlier, okay, a very rapidly spreading, I will bring you those updates as soon as we get them. But again, just want to provide you this quick little update for this afternoon. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Again, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next.